New fundraising numbers show the Republican Party's main campaign arm with a distinct cash advantage ahead of next year's midterms. Democrats are cautioning that it's still early, highlighting what the DNC calls record grassroots fundraising in June. The party also says that at this point in 2017, just a year before they won 40 seats and regained control of the House, the party had been in worse shape financially than they are right now. So let's bring in NewsNation's Joe Khalil live for us there in Capitol Hill. So, Joe, despite this outward optimism, this could mean potential problems for Democrats, at least in the short term.
So I think big picture, Nichole, what we've got is next week, Congress is going to recess here in the House, and everyone's going to go home to their districts. Everyone's going to be worried about 2026. This is a big opportunity to connect with your voters and to really figure out what the message is, what the strategy is ahead of that crucial and critical 2026 midterm. There are really reasons for both parties to be optimistic and also serious cause for concern on both sides as well. Let's start with Democrats. You talked about the money a bit. I think their biggest problem really is their polling, which is at historic lows still. They obviously have had a brand problem that the party has been trying to course correct for and trying to shore up more support, but that's going to be an issue for them. This is the fundraising story that you referenced here. Let's take a look at the RNC versus the DNC. The first thing you're seeing now is just the months of June, the totals that they had, and you can see it's almost a 2-to-1 advantage for the RNC in that case. And then there's the just cash that they are sitting on so far. That is a pretty big disparity for Republicans that historically, recently, they have not had. So that's the liability part for Democrats. Where they are looking forward is historically midterms are good for the party that's not in power in the White House. So there is that. They also feel like they finally started as a party to coalesce around a unifying theme and a unifying message. And they're looking at polling for President Trump that has been sort of slumping recently as a sign to be more optimistic for them. On the Republican side, basically, they feel like though historically the tides usually shift against the party in power, there are a couple of reasons for them that they feel good about. As they go home, they're going to be talking about the one big beautiful bill. Look, Democrats think that's going to be a major liability for Republicans. Many Republicans we've talked to disagree. They say that there are things that they can go back home and sell, whether it's the tax benefits, whether it's going to be energy policy, or whether it's going to be something more specific within the bill, like no tax on tips, that kind of thing. They feel good about. They also have this cash advantage that they see as enthusiasm, Nichole. So when you look at that, both sides, again, have something to sell to their base, to their voters. But I think we're going to see a lot of that next week, really starting that big push as they're home for their summer recess as a way to connect to voters and see where voters are on these issues.
All right, so Joe, let's talk about redistricting in Texas, potentially in California. How could that potentially impact the midterms and, of course, the balance of power in the House?
Well, Republicans in Texas have this plan where they feel like they could redraw their maps and quite literally just from that win back 3 to 5 Democratic seats, essentially draw those Democrats out of districts and give Republicans an upper hand. So if that happens, that would be huge and obviously would have a big impact. Democrats, of course, are promising to counter that. And you've seen the California governor, Gavin Newsom, say if Texas moves, California will do the same thing. There are some Republican seats they could try to draw out as well. This is what Congressman Pete Aguilar, the #2 Democrat in the House, said about this exact issue earlier today.
We need to do everything we can to gain the majority. Everything. Every single member, every way, every possible opportunity we can to help the team. That's what this needs to be about. And I would even argue some of this redistricting, discussion needs to be in that frame too. I understand that people serve different communities and different constituencies. If we have an opportunity to push back against some dangerous behavior that Texas is doing, we should do it.
So this is what the balance of power looks like right now, Nichole. Congressman Mark Green, a Republican from Tennessee, just officially retiring this week from Congress. So it would only take 3 or 4 seats for Democrats to flip, for them to win back the House majority. It is going to be razor tight. That is why there's so many eyes on these races coming up here. So we're going to see moving forward, again, how both sides really lock in, because campaigning season starts earlier and earlier, and they've already got their eyes on it.
They already do. All right, Joe Khalil, live there in Washington. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.